Thanks, Alexis. Hey everyone. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon for most folks, maybe not those on the West Coast. So what I'm talking about today is something we tried this semester called the Oops Files. Thank you to AI for helping me come up with a catchy name. So our challenge statements here is kind of twofold, but generally speaking, I've noticed in my time teaching labs that students are often uncomfortable with making mistakes or confused when they start using real components in labs on why things aren't working or going as expected during their experiments. And these are very normal occurrences in lab, and they don't necessarily lead to nice pretty answers that you can put a box around that are either right or wrong. There's variability and whatnot there. And so I've been working on this, trying to bolster this mindset of learning from failure, and mistakes, trying to normalize it as part of the lab over my time at the University of Illinois. And but I haven't had a chance to assess this. Like, how are students actually responding to these things that I'm doing? Are they actually, over the course of the semester, um, getting actually more comfortable with this and learning from their mistakes? And is there a way that other students in the class could also learn from those mistakes? And so what our novel initiative here is, what I call the Oops Files. And what they are is an anonymous Dropbox where they can submit a picture and a short description of something that went wrong. They don't have to have the solution. But it's also a way for us to, my goal was to capture these pictures and things so that as a staff we can learn how to help students better. We can and create a database of these things. And so I posted a QR code and a short link around the lab, hoping that they would just submit either quick screenshots or cell phone pictures that we could start creating this database. The idea came from, I participated in a Keen workshop on assessment, and this is obviously for those of you at Keen schools. Learning from failure is a key mindset for Keen as well. And so we were brainstorming ideas on this assessment piece, and somebody brought up that they actually have sort of a display of bad prototypes in their design class. And so this is me trying to kind of build off of that sort of display of bad prototypes into something that would fit in an instrumentation lab, hence the pictures and stuff. And so we didn't get a lot of submissions, but we got about 6 in the first semester. And it wasn't just from students. The course staff held themselves to the same thing. And so we had some there. We posted them on the wall to try and encourage students to learn from those and lower the barrier to submitting those. And if they didn't have a full solution, I actually kind of crafted the solution a little bit to turn it into a better learning experience with context and other stuff, also without trying to give away the answers. And so some of it is common misunderstanding. So it's going to help me over time understand where those misconceptions are and help fix those. And what we want to do going forward is discuss different ways to encourage participation next semester. One of the ideas I had, since a lot of these came from the revise and resubmit process, is maybe we just have them put a star by something when they resubmit their lab to lower that barrier even further. Or have them put a comment like, please share this with others through the Oops Files or things like that, to make it even easier for them to submit that instead of being in a separate spot. And then, just as an example, in my last couple seconds here, these are 3 of the ones that came in, and the resulting poster version that I put on the wall in the lab. So I had one where they were talking about noise in the circuit, and that, but just by adding the DMM, even if they weren't directly measuring DC voltage, it helped reduce the noise in the circuit. This one, a student was designing a filter and got the variables mixed up, and so I provided the schematic of the filter that the student used and the relevant equations typed out so it was easy to see. And the last one, the student had some misconceptions about gain bandwidth, cutoff frequency, and time constant when they were designing or making a Bodie plot based on their data. So I went ahead and included that, and again, the relevant equations. And so these, we have a, because we renovated our building, we have a very misplaced, or not misplaced. It's there structurally, but it's at a horrible location for the rest of the lab of a column. And so basically, I'm just kind of plastering the column in the lab with these 8.5 by 11 sort of 1 page summaries of the OOPS files around the lab, hoping to, like I say, normalize this as something that happens in the lab.